The Dark Phoenix saga is one of the most renowned storylines in the X-Men franchise, and finally, the Dark Phoenix film has arrived. Is this the fiery force to be reckoned with that we've been waiting for, or is this a colossal burnout? Dark Phoenix is written and directed by Simon Kinberg, who also wrote X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Days of Future Past, my favorite X-Men in the franchise.
Absolutely.
This film stars the Queen of the North herself, Sophie Turner, as the title character, and it also stars James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jessica Chastain.
The Dark Phoenix brings back our young prequel X-Men characters in a movie that has some elements from the Dark Phoenix and the Phoenix Saga from the comic books.
That's right.
This time around, you have this universal mystical entity known as the Phoenix Force that takes Jean Grey as a host because of her telepathic and empathic abilities.
This film's rating on Rotten Tomatoes is in the 20s, a very, very embarrassing low score. But I think I know where the problem lies. I think that the problem lies in the storyline, really. Like, while this film really attempts to tell a story about self-discovery and renewal, you know, through the Jean Grey character and the Phoenix and redemption, right? I think that it becomes like a borderline soap opera about like self-hatred and self-loathing, and there's a lot of like complaining with this character, and you feel sorry for her and she feels sorry for herself.
Why did I do that?
Yeah. And it just becomes really like, I don't know, like
it's kind of boring.
Yeah,
you know, to me, kind of felt like a TV episode rather than a movie. So you mentioned the plot being kind of flimsy. A lot of that too, I think, is due to the fact that they rushed a lot of things.
They did.
A lot of actions and a lot of decisions are very abrupt and jarring.
That's right.
Simply to move along the plot, and so it has that feel, that fast pace where everything's a little disjointed of a TV episode, I think.
And to add to that, a severe lack of explanation as to why this Phoenix Force is inhabiting, you know, Jean Grey's body, or what it really wants, what's its purpose. There's a severe lack of, you know, understanding, especially for people who are not familiar with these comic books, you know?
Point, yes.
If you are familiar with the Phoenix Saga or the Dark Phoenix Saga, then you're going to be able to fill in the blanks, but there's a severe lack of explanation, I think, that is going to leave some viewers like, well, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, or maybe I don't care. Like, for example, there's an alien race called the Dabari, and in the movie, they have a certain motivation behind trying to find the Phoenix Force, but you kind of get the sense that, well, they didn't really need to be in the movie. They didn't add much to the movie. I kind of would have preferred it without them. Yeah,
and there's a severe lack of an origin story as far as the Phoenix is concerned, you know? You know, they leave out, you know, the Mcron crystal and the sun being like the fuel of energy for the Phoenix, and there's a lot of things that are missing, but we're not talking about the comic books, we're talking about the movie.
One other thing we talked about earlier was how they could have done a better job of establishing a connection between Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force. At times you didn't know whether her corruption, I guess, was caused by the Phoenix Force or whether it was caused by her inability to, I guess, corral her powers.
Right, because the Phoenix, once it enters her, it causes kind of like these fickle emotions to overtake her, right?
Great word, fickle,
and so you don't understand where that's coming from, like you said. Really, really, the storyline, the writing is so lackluster, in my opinion.
And obviously along those lines, the dialogue, very, very cheesy at more times than it should be. A lot of actions that feel forced, and then some plot devices. Like I said, the Dabari are more of just like a catalyst for the Phoenix, for the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, we can continue bashing the heck out of this movie, but let's talk about some of the positives.
Okay.
All I have to say is Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner.
Yes, besides the fact that she is a beauty, right? She holds her own in this movie, and
I'm talking about how great of an actress she is, of course.
Okay, I misread your signals there.
No, really, like, she takes control of this role, and she does the best that she can, you know,
with what she's given.
With what she's given. She hardly has any compelling dialogue at all. You know, nobody does. But she really carries this movie and shows a great range of emotions, and is pretty, you know, commanding on screen, I would dare say.
Yeah, I thought that she did a good job, like you said, with the range of emotions. I mean, I would disagree. I don't kind of feel like she carried the movie. In fact, I felt like she was semi-wasted in this movie. I mean, she is a talented actress.
Oh yeah, she's wasted. interested, but I mean, she does the best that she can.
Yeah, there are many times where I felt like this was more of an X-Men movie than a Dark Phoenix movie, and I appreciated that part of it. I enjoyed that. We talked after the movie about how we got to see a lot of different X characters, X-Men do their, exhibit their powers, and they kind of got their moments to shine.
Which I appreciated about this entry, right? I mean, this is the first time I feel where you can see all of these X-Men like using their powers to their fullest potential in what I think are some of the best action scenes in the entire franchise. I really have to give a shout out to the action sequences, especially this train sequence towards the end of the film. I don't want to, give too much away, but I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and the train sequence was actually a tie-in to the writer making this more than just about Jean Grey. Like, they added the fact that this was an X-Men movie at its core, because you see that signature conflict between humans and mutants still woven in this movie, which, as an X-Men fan, I really wanted to see more of, but at the end of the day, it was a Dark Phoenix movie.
That's so true, because the X-Men are a great metaphor for being outcasts in society and being unique and different.
Prejudices and all that good stuff.
And they really throw that, away in this movie, so that's a shame.
And to close out our segment on characters, I do want to mention that Jessica Chastain, who we all know from Zero Dark 30, great performance, was wasted in this movie with what they gave her. And lastly, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. I wanted to see more of Mystique's character. I liked her command.
Yes.
I liked her command, and
I agree with that.
Not in the movie as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But again, it's not her movie, so.
Yeah, poor decisions, poor execution. I mean, I'm so disappointed because I'm a huge X-Men fan, and this franchise has gone downhill.
Yeah. This is the last Fox movie for the X-Men, the last of the prequels.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be
see what Disney does in the future.
Yeah, in about maybe 5 years, I think they said something like that. So it is sad to say goodbye to this Fox franchise, but maybe not so sad because they haven't generally done a good job. This touches on a lot of themes such as family, forgiveness, revenge, redemption, trust, but they don't flesh out enough of those, and they don't do a good job.
But in a poor manner.
Yeah, they touch on it, but they don't flesh any of those out thoroughly. So I'm going to give this movie a rating of 3 reels out of 5.
Well, I'm really happy that we agree on that rating because I didn't want to have to give a justification again as to why this movie was not so great. 3 reels seems just about right. It really is a shame because the Dark Phoenix saga and the Phoenix saga are such great stories that delve into great psychology,
Chris Claremont stories.
Yes, I was missing the psychological implications of the Phoenix. There were some great, stories in here in this amazing comic book about, fighting that takes place inside of the mind that were completely neglected in this movie. And so for those reasons, 3 reels. Yeah. And so please let us know in the comments below what you think about this latest X-Men entry. Do you agree that this is just a hot mess, or is this, does it have some redeeming qualities? Please let us know.
Yeah, where does it rank, among all the X-Men movies? Is it worse than X3 The Last Stand, or better? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like our videos, and that bell button for notifications. And as always, I'm always touting the Alamo Draft House. Why do you like it so much?
Oh, well, they have great food, they have great service, a great selection.
Great ambiance,
yeah, just a great place everywhere to be at. And check us out on social media. We're on Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram real.screeners. And please stay tuned for our next film review where we give you our real take on movies. That's my favorite in the film series, for sure. This film... Dark Phoenix.
Dark. Elements from both the X-Men Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga from the comic books. It's the story of this universal mystical Mark Anthony.
Wow. And Caesar.